So Donald Trump held a rally over the weekend, and during this rally, there was a Black Lives Matter protester. Now, CNN had actually captured this man being beaten by Trump supporters. Now, according to Think Progress, CNN reporter Jeremy Diamond saw that attendees to this Trump rally swarmed around this black man, kicking and punching him as he had curled up on the ground. Jesus. Now, afterwards, Trump, when asked to weigh in on this on Fox and Friends Sunday morning, he said of this guy, maybe he should have been roughed up. It was disgusting what he was doing. Well, what was he doing? He was chanting. That was it. It was disgusting to oppose Donald Trump. That's the message that you get from this. It's disgusting to oppose Donald Trump. Yeah. Now, he also compared what happened at his rally to a Black Lives Matter protest at a Bernie Sanders event. He said, quote, "This is not the way Bernie Sanders handled his problem, I will tell you. But I have a lot of fans, and they were not happy about it. And this was a very obnoxious guy, a troublemaker, looking to make trouble." So if somebody's a troublemaker and they're looking to make trouble by, protesting, which is part of the First Amendment, after all, your supporters get to beat them up. They get to beat the fuck out of them. That's what we're doing in America. That's what happens at a Trump rally. Jesus. Now, he also said the same thing. Remember, there were other Trump supporters that beat up a homeless Latino man and urinated on it, saying, "Go back to Mexico." Oh, don't worry. My fans are just very passionate. That's all. That's the only problem here. They're just thinking a little too passionate. Maybe that's because Donald Trump is actually inciting hatred and racism and xenophobia. And look, according to these reports, Trump supporters launching violent and racist attacks have actually become fairly commonplace. There was another one where attendees actually shoved and spat on immigration advocates. And in another rally, Trump supporters were filmed dragging and kicking an immigrant activist while others yelled "USA, USA." This is dangerous, man. This is dangerous. And so what does Trump do? We limit the media. He actually corralled media and refused to allow reporters into the crowd. He refuses to allow reporters. Well, racist things are happening at my racist rallies. So instead of actually saying, hey, you know what, we shouldn't do that. These people are American and they have the right to protest. No, we're going to keep the media out. Does this sound like somebody who advocates for freedom? I didn't think so. And so he went on to defend this position by then tweeting out even more racist things. In fact, he tweeted out this graphic. Let's take a look at that. Does that guy remind you of a terrorist? That's a black guy, or supposed to be a black guy. Look at that. 97% of black people, even though more misleading than how it looks, is the actual stats on it. And this is reported to have come from a neo-Nazi website. 97% of black people are killed by blacks. Well, gee, if you look at that stat, it sure does paint all African Americans as violent thugs that are destroying their own communities. Doesn't it? Well, that's the impression that they want you to have. And if you're looking at this graphic and taking it seriously, you're the kind of person that's going to say, well, man, it looks like they're out of control. Look at those violent blacks, those thugs. Well, that's exactly what they want you to think. But it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. All the stats in this meme, absolutely wrong. Official crime statistics for the United States are actually collected by the FBI. The racial breakdown of the victims and offenders for murders are detailed in a report that is released yearly. Therefore, the 2015 report is not even released yet. According to the FBI's 2014 report that was released in late September, it reveals that the statistics peddled by Donald Trump, retweeted by Donald Trump, are absolutely fake. They're a bold-faced fucking lie. Trump's graphic states that 81% of whites who are murdered by black people. That is wrong. This is false. The actual data shows that 14% of white murder victims are murdered by a black person. In 2013, it was 13.6. So a slight uptick. But nowhere near the 81% claimed by this racist graphic. Furthermore, the percentage of blacks murdered by other blacks, 89.9%, is similar to the percentage of whites murdered by other whites, 82.3%. Trump's graphic falsely states that 97% of blacks killed by other blacks, but just 16% of whites are killed by other whites. That is wrong. That's the kind of statistic that leads people to be scared of black people. Oh, they're targeting us. They're coming after us. No, they're not. It's only there. These statistics are only made up to provoke racial hatred. This is why you get people like the Charleston shooter shooting up black churches. It's memes and stats and fake bullshit lies like this. That's what leads people to violence. And here's Donald Trump in the middle of it, peddling this bullshit. And what's dangerous about that is that Trump has millions of followers on social media. So they're getting exposed to neo-Nazi hate propaganda. This is a problem. This is a huge problem. And this is what you get. This is what happens when you live in a right-wing hate bubble. You start retweeting things that are absolutely made up without any sort of fact checking at all. And how do they get away with this? How does he not get called out on this? How does he not get in trouble for this? I'm pretty sure he gets called out on this by the media. But of course, all of his voters have an innate trust of the media, or an innate distrust of the media. They have no trust. Oh, it's just the media attacking Donald Trump again. No, Donald Trump is the one that's fucking lying. He's lying to you. If you're a Trump supporter, how can you let him get away with this stuff? Even if you're a Trump supporter, you can't be immune to facts. Can you? He's wrong on immigration. He's wrong on these violent statistics. He's wrong on Black Lives Matter. And that's not just my opinion. Those are absolute facts. But if you live in that hate bubble that Donald Trump has surrounded himself in to win the Republican nomination, then I guess you'll never see it unless you break out of it. And if you don't recognize that the leading candidate for the Republican nomination is a racist, fascist xenophobe, or maybe you do and just don't care, then I guess that makes you part of the problem.